there are various reasons to keep growing. One is to experience more of what is possible for you in your life, in your abilities, in your relationships, in your business, all of that. But it's also to figure out what is the right trajectory for me, for my life, from a passion, purpose perspective as well.
And by doing the work, increasing your knowledge and continuing the journey, I'm going to guess, 1, it gives you more confidence. 2, you just have more self-knowledge. 3, through the discipline and adversity, you're mentally stronger and more confident in what you can do. Hey guys, welcome back to the TPM Show. Once again, we have a very special guest with us, Arthur Magruniti. I always practice saying that. It's so much fun. Arthur is not only one of our master coaches here at TPM, he's also one of my closest and dearest friends. And today we're going to talk about, when does the journey actually end? Thanks for being here, man.
Awesome to be here.
Yeah, with TPM Branch, Mark Smith here, you here, Mark Hainsworth, Tim. Got the whole crew. We got Grant is here, as well as Andrew. So it's been a lot of fun having you here as we go with the Alpha Rising.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Working with everyone across the world is like, there's no comparison when you're like sitting side by side working on the same thing and other things, because we have our calls in between and everything. But having everyone together is just so new and amazing. Just so, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah, I got to be honest, it's tough for me because it's almost like, remember being a kid, and did you ever have sleepovers or people go? So imagine all your friends come to your house, right, and then all of a sudden you find out you can't be there. So guys, listening to this, I'm not actually running this event, which is a rarity for me. And it's great because I have so many people that I trust taking care of it. So I am literally a 10-minute drive from the TPM ranch. But like last night, I was at a kid's birthday party. So having a great time, but also knowing that my friends are over here, you definitely feel a little pulled.
Yeah, it's great. And, we go back so many years. So, and it's all of us, really, everyone in that room. And so, we'd love to see more of you.
Yeah. Well, we'll
get a babysitter.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll be here on Friday night, but for the special dinner, it's not the work part. So what I want to talk about today, Arthur, because a lot of people bring this up, is when does the journey end, like for personal development and growth? And, so most of the people that listen to this show, have listened to it for a while, understand that we have the activation method, right? So we have that. We also have the Ascension Blueprint. So these are 2 entry-level programs that people come. One focuses on relationships. The other one focuses on the territory of self, which is really for men that are just a little stuck right now, right? Coming through. And that's actually the program that you entered in with TPM as a client coming in. But we don't talk about our other programs and stuff that we've done personally in our quest to get here. So some men have heard of the Alpha Reset. So the Alpha Reset occurs, and guys, I'm just going to give you this for context, not promotion, but we have an Alpha Reset, which is a life transforming event. I think I feel confident saying 100% of men that have been through that program would say it's life changing, or they got what they came for. Then there's a second level to that, which we don't talk about very much, and is the reason that you flew all the way from Cyprus to be here, and 2 guys from South Africa, 1 guy from the UK, and that is the Alpha Rising, right? That's like the next layer. Guys are like, it can't get any better than this, and then they come to the Alpha Rising, and they're like, oh shit,
it can.
It can. And we have the Brotherhood, which is a 1-year mastermind, basically, where you continually grow with other men, has events included in that. We also have the Inner Circle, which is a higher level, more intimacy with our coaches, you, myself, Tim specifically, and more. So what some guys think of is like, when is it going to be over, right? When is it going to be done? And you would say?
Never.
Yeah, that's the honest answer.
Well, it'll be never if you continuously want to explore what's holding you back, all right? If you want to explore what's possible for you, because we are limitless beings.
Yeah.
And we limit ourselves only by our mindset. And so if you never want to stop tapping into your resources, into your abilities, into what's possible for you, well, then you don't want to stop learning. You don't want to stop growing, because that's where you're going to find it.
It's exactly what it is. And I say the last episode with Mark Smith, I ended it with you deserve more than average. And I mean that. I think a lot of people get complacent. A lot of the men that listen to the show right now are going through relationship issues, right? That's one reason some men that find us. Most people don't know that we focus on business as well and a bunch of other areas through our programs. But when they're thinking about this, they're focused on the one problem at hand. And they've set the bar towards the people around them or towards their parents. Like, my parents were able to do this well, so I just have to hit that bar, rather than really reaching for themselves. And when I started this journey, Arthur, I started in high school, right? And it's shocking that I'm not in high school anymore by age, but as we joked earlier. But, I'm 48. And so I've been doing this, I've been on this journey for over 30 years. And there's always more to be found. And with every layer that I pull back and everything I investigate by myself or learn about myself or others, life becomes that much richer.
Yeah. It becomes that much richer, expansive. And I think it's also important to point out the fact that a lot of my journey has been finding what is the next right step for me, but that's come through me doing different things, different retreats, different experiences, different growth to figure out, oh, actually, this is what I want. Oh, I didn't know about that. Now I know about this. So for me, my personal development journey has helped me get to a spot now where I love what I'm doing. And this is something we find a lot with the guys. They don't know what the next right step is for them.
Yeah.
And it's always going to come from some sort of personal growth.
Yes.
Pushing themselves further, pushing into the edges, finding what's on the other side of that edge. And then there's a whole new world out there, as the Disney whatever thing cartoon says, There are various reasons to keep growing. One is to experience more of what is possible for you in your life, in your abilities, in your relationships, in your business, all of that. But it's also to figure out what is the right trajectory for me, for my life, from a passion, purpose perspective as well.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the men that's been in our program for over 5 years this morning. And these aren't dumb guys. They're extremely smart. You think of like the best athletes in the world always have a coach. They do. And when I was talking to him, he said, this comment was basically like, funny to think about where I started. Everything on the outside looked great, Doug. This person was financially extremely successul. His family was Instagram worthy. I mean, we're talking, they look on Instagram like the best family in the world. Right. But inside, his wife had cheated on him. He found out, had an affair. She wanted to leave. And he was devastated. And this is when he first came to us. Fast forward to today, he and his wife are having the best marriage they've had. He's completely changed his health and physique from what he was doing. He's sold multiple companies and is actually going for what he wants in life. Is it perfect? No. But he did the work. We as coaches are, I believe, our best job is holding up a mirror, right? And it's iron sharpens iron. And a lot of these guys sit at the top of the tree in their business, and they can't talk to their staff or their staff members, because we have an employee now program. They can't talk to their boss about what's going on at home or what's happening in their personal lives. They don't even talk to their friends about their hopes and dreams with fear of being laughed at.
Right.
You put them in a safe environment. You give them guidance of men who have been there, done that. So I'm talking in the trenches knowledge. Here's how you get from point A to point Z, and have a roadmap designed for you. The guys just accelerate. And that's why guys stick around for 4, 5, 6 years, is because they continue to grow. And that's why they keep investing in themselves.
100%. And I love the expression, being in the conversation. As coaches, we are always in the conversation. But these guys as well, being in the conversation. So constantly reflecting on themselves, hearing and being inspired by others' journeys. And the thing is, we don't know what we don't know. And so even if we are really successful, we only know what we know. And being surrounded by others who are equally successful, doing something completely different, gives you so much additional information, knowledge, experience, and growth.
It does. You and I probably collectively have invested in our own personal growth millions of dollars at this point. And I would say best ROI I've ever had on anything. by far. My wife would agree. My kids are too young to agree, but I think they would. They will. I would have been a totally different father.
Yeah.
A totally different father had I not done this work. And a different friend to people around me. This movement would be totally different. So it's that investment to get that ROI and my enjoyment of it coming through. I think guys miss that sometimes. I was talking to a guy we'll call GJ, and I was talking to him, and so he came to us for a very specific reason, not related to his business at all. And he came to me and he goes, "Doug, you're missing it." I was like, "Well, he's a smart guy." I'm like, "Well, what? What do you mean, man? What do you mean I'm missing it?" He's like, "My business has gone through the roof since I started working on myself." He's like, "You guys don't talk about that." He's like, "The ROI I get from my business growing, because now I'm not dealing with all this other crap that was on my plate. It's a huge difference." And he's like, "You guys really should promote this, because there's an ROI here. Like I get more than I invested in this. It's almost like he looks at it as a business investment,
right,
that he's getting a huge ROI from that bleeds over to his personal life."
Right. Yeah. And stands to reason as well, because I mean, the biggest restriction in your business, the biggest bottleneck in your business is you.
Yep.
All right. And so if you are not growing, your business isn't growing.
Unless you have a business partner.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the other thing is that most guys, and we see it with our guys, right? They'll say at the end of the year, "I can't believe what an amazing year I've had."
Yeah.
And having gone back to the beginning, I could never have imagined that I'm here now.
Yeah.
Right? But you can do that every year.
Yes.
And that's if you're growing. Right? And so that's why you got to, number one, continually grow, because you don't know what's on the other side for you if you continue to grow. But there is something better, something different. And so you got to keep going if you want to keep leveling up. And it can really seriously get better.
Yeah.
Only better, yeah.
Well, it's like exercise, right? You got to do it regularly. You don't just get there.
Right.
So TPM, we say the journey is the destination. And we mean is you don't just get there and you stop. Like in business, you don't just get to a certain point and you completely stop the business. I think there's a fantasy about that. I'll make X money, then I'm retire or I'm done. But you'll do something else. You'll do something. Fitness, the same thing. You know, I've been in great shape in my life, and I stop working out and keep eating, breakfast burritos and stuff, and I get fat, right? So it doesn't stick. And the same thing with your relationships, right? Unless you're continually investing and growing in your marriage or your relationships with your kids and learning how to relate relationships to people, it becomes really difficult. And those become stagnant too.
Thing is as well, is I think a lot of guys will think like, well, it's fixed or it's broken, right? Yeah. But even when it's fixed, there are levels to everything. And speaking about health, I've always been fairly active, right? I always thought I knew a bit about health. But every year, because I'm in the conversation, because I'm pushing myself, I'm learning more and more and more about health. And it's not like major stuff, but each one of those little slivers just adds another element to my overall holistic package sort of thing. So if I look over the last 5 years, what I knew and what I know now is huge, right? But if I'd said, okay, no, I'm just working out and I've got that under control, I miss so much substance to all of that. So many tweaks that just would catapult your results. And I think that applies to all areas.
You right now are what I would say the best shape I've ever seen you in, right? Relatively so, right? Yeah. Give or take. I know you're going to be super critical on yourself. Like, well, 2 weeks ago before I got here.
Yeah, before I met you guys.
Yeah,
again.
Exactly. The ups and downs. But I mean, and that's a testimony to you, right? Because you're doing the work to get there. As you age, all of us age, we're not supposed to get in better shape. We're supposed to get in worse shape, as society tells us.
Yeah.
And by doing the work, increasing your knowledge and continuing the journey, I'm going to guess, 1, it gives you more confidence. 2, you just have more self-knowledge. 3, through the discipline and adversity, you're mentally stronger and more confident in what you can do. And I want men to hear this because I want them to know what's possible. There's that old saying, I'm going to mess it up, Arthur, but it's people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10. Right. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true. And right now, for a lot of the men listening to this, they're in the mud. They're in the tunnel right now. They're in the darkness in their marriage, the darkness in their business, or something is going on. And however dark it may be, there's different shades of dark. But they get to know that, hey, you'll get through this if you just keep taking the right steps, right? And I think the right step, and I'm biased on this, but this is true. I find this true for me in my own growth, is find someone who's been there, done that, and has a proven process, a methodology, if you will. That's why we call it the activation method, a proven methodology. And they've taken other people through it. Now, it doesn't have to be with TPM, guys. This is not a pitch for TPM. I think what we do is the best on the market, or otherwise we change it. But do something, right? Find somebody who's done it and just take action. And that investment's going to be so worth it. You can't take it with you.
Yeah. I say you need outside eyes in.
Yeah.
Right? We can delude ourselves. We can say things like, I'm going to do this, whatever. But we let ourselves off the hook. All right. I do it. And, I think most people do. And that's why we need outside eyes in, looking at us and saying, hey, you said you're going to do this. Are you doing it? Yeah. Just that accountability is worth millions and so much. But imagine having a group of guys holding you accountable, and so we do need other people involved in our growth. And it doesn't make sense in this day and age to try reinvent the wheel yourself.
No.
It'll take too long.
Dude, I tried that so many times, man. Take a course and think I could do it better, or I could fast track it. If I just cut this out. Such a moron. Right. I always thought I could do it faster and better. And eventually I learned that, hey, master it from somebody else. Then you just make it yours once you've got mastery around it.
Right.
And that's the true path. Otherwise you keep starting over and over and over again, because it's like a recipe, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't follow the recipe. I wonder why the cake didn't turn out well. You're like, dude, you forgot that you didn't put the eggs in. You thought you could bypass that. A lot of us do it.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting was we had a comment inside the main ranch house here at the TPM Ranch, and there's men here right now at the Alpha Rising that have been involved in the movement for a number of years. Right. They've done other things previous to that. You did things previous to finding TPM. I did things previous to TPM as well. But what they're having huge insights. And they've only been here a day, right? And so they're peeling back layers in a different, unique way than they ever have before. And based on the conversation we had, because you just had conversations with the guys, is ways that they never even imagined possible, things that they didn't know came up for them.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that with the Alpha Reset and the Rising, hearing the guys at the end saying what they got from it, right?
Yep.
And we all ask them, like, did you get what you came for? You know? And they say, well, I got what I came for, but I also got what I needed.
That's the most common phrase, yeah.
Right. Because they don't realize a lot of guys don't realize what they need. They know what they want, but what you need is probably a bigger thing underlying all of it.
Yeah.
And if you can get both, which you can through growth, through going onto these retreats, well, then it's the bonus. It's the dessert as well as the main course.
Yeah, when I look at the Alpha Reset, so what we do, gentlemen, so you know, if you attend the Alpha Reset, you're going to be asked to fill out an anonymous survey after you go home. We can't tell who's who. We have no idea. Sometimes you can, because guys will leave a particular story, or they'll even leave their name, but they don't have to. Yeah. I can't think of a time, and I've been doing Alpha Resets for 7 years now, 7 years, because before my son was born. So over 7 years. And I can't think of a time that a guy didn't give the Alpha Reset a 5 out of 5. Now there have been guys that complain maybe about the food or something, and so, giving a 4.5 for that. But for the actual result they get at the event, the experiential event, it's always 5 out of 5. And when you think about the amount of growth you can do compounding things like that, books, podcasts like this, they're great and they're helpful. In fact, we had a promo where I would buy the guys a copy of the book that I wrote, How to Save Your Marriage Without Talking About It. I've bought 180 books so far, and we've shipped them to men all over the world. Yeah, it's been super cool. It's so funny because I have to buy them from Amazon. Amazon ships them to me, then I ship them out, because there's not, I don't know a better way of doing it. I'm just a guy here, trying my best. But you got to keep peeling back those layers, those experiences, and going and doing things. How long ago was it when you did your Alpha Reset? Do you remember?
must have been about 8 years ago.
Couldn't have been 8 years ago.
No, it's got to be around there, 7 years.
It's gotta be
Actually,
7.
no. Your first Alpha Reset,
What?
I was on that, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't my first. No,
Okay, it was
but it must.
near that, wasn't it?
I think it was a year or two afterwards.
Okay.
So then, yeah. So probably then I would have been doing Alpha Resets for 8 years. So you might have been 7 years ago.
Okay.
Let's just call it. We'll call it 7.
There you go.
For fun. Yeah, because the first one was actually done here, or second one was done here in Oregon. Which was my first. It was actually the first time I ever met Tim.
Okay. Cool.
It was almost all UK guys, which is funny, or half UK guys.
Yeah.
Coming here. But yeah, so you've done that, and since that time, not only do you do things through TPM, but you invest outside TPM and doing your own growth and looking and finding. And one thing I've always admired about you is you're always looking for that next lever to pull. What is that next level for you to obtain? And it's not that you're not at least for me, looking outside, it doesn't seem that you're not satisfied with life.
Right.
I think that's a key difference, right? You're on a quest to continuously learn more about yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. I find it exciting to go and learn something new, to push myself, to challenge myself, for the reasons we've been talking about, because I realize something more. I learn something more about myself. I learn something else out there that I can apply in my life, and I can apply with our guys as well.
Yeah.
And but it's interesting how, just going back to the previous point, how guys that have come out of the Alpha Reset, thought they've got it all figured out,
Yep.
are now on the Alpha Rising, figuring out new stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And it's these layers that we keep talking about, that there's always something else that you can dig deeper into. And it's like peeling the onion. I think we've used that expression many a times. It's like, okay, you peeled it once, but there's like another 10 layers.
Yeah.
Right? And so what are you doing to lean into those edges that are going to help you peel those layers to expose more of who you authentically are? Because we all know we can do better. We all know there's more in us. And how do we get there? Well, through doing the work.
Yeah. The analogy I've heard someone use like this, Arthur, it was, let's say you're in a rural neighborhood, just a suburban neighborhood. You can come up to a house, it's called a large house, and look at it, and it looks all quiet, no lights on, nothing going on. You can think, what a boring place. But if you choose to investigate, like we do inside ourselves, and you walk around that house, there could be the most raging pool party going on in the backyard, but without looking in from the back, it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah.
And that's where I think guys get to really discover, like, what is your real purpose? Why are you really here? Not from a biblical or religious perspective, but why are you really here? What's your zone of genius? What fills you up? And I think for most people, who are you? Right? Without the masks and the things that are coming through. I've never experienced anything. You and I have traveled all over the world doing events, and from plant medicines to your classic seminars to you name it, anything between. The Alpha Reset by far is the one thing I've seen men go, that's who I am. Got it. Thank you. Which has been interesting. And they're not just looking to find out what's wrong with them, right? I mean, if you were looking to find out what's wrong with you, I mean, I would tell you in 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, you usually do.
Someone's got to keep you level. But it is about that growth and that discovery. But there's something else, and we think about events like these. When I come to an event like this, even as a coach, I have the other coaches, and I'll ask you, we almost always ask each other a very similar question. What are my blind spots? What am I not seeing of myself? And it's so hard, man, to become the man is inside without outside perspective.
Yeah. The simple fact is we don't know how we're showing up. We think we know how we're showing up, but how we perceive by others could be a whole different thing. And we try to work it out to show the best version of ourselves. But even in doing that, as you mentioned, we are wearing masks unless we become aware of those masks and we do the work to remove them. And those masks hold you back, as you know, from having an authentic, full expression of yourself in life. And so it's key that we do the work so we can really show up fully authentically. And I love that word because that's who we want to be. We want to be authentically us, not with any programs the society has given us. Oh, I should be this person. I should be this person. or any other stories about how we are not good enough, right? It's like there's a lot of stories that we pick up and run with throughout our lives that just hold us back.
I want to buy you a gift. Look, if your marriage is struggling, and let's be real, every marriage struggles at some point, but yours is struggling where you've lost that love, admiration, respect, I want to help you. I want to buy you a copy of the book that I wrote, A Man's Guide on How to Save Your Marriage Without Talking About It. In here, I've distilled over 8 years of programs that we've developed at TPM to help men just like you save their marriages without talking about it. There's no fluff, no BS. It's an action plan that you can start using today to actually save your marriage and bring that love and respect back into your family, back into your house. You deserve it. Look, all I ask is you pay the postage, you pay the shipping, I'll buy the book for you. That way you can take massive action today. Click the link or find it in the bio and get your copy now.
Well, if you drop those stories, then who's left? It's you and your authentic expression, you and your, base layer, which is love, right? And so that authentic expression in the world is what we need.
Yeah.
Right? And from that, you can be who you're meant to be and achieve what you here to do. I'm going to get philosophical now, but I think we're all here to give of our talents to make this world a better place. You can only really do that authentically if you've dropped all the stuff that's holding you back from doing that. And that's why, once again, doing the work is so, so important, so that you can do your best work.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Yeah. People think I'm weird. Well, I am, but people think I'm weird. I was at a 4-year-old's birthday party last night, right? A neighbor, family, friends, that kind of thing. And I was talking to the dad, and we're having a glass of wine, and the conversation, and that goes a lot for me, is like, he goes, well, you can't do that because of this, this, and this. I'm like, dude, do you not know me? like I've let those constraints go so long ago. Like, yeah, I can, because I'm not worried what other people think of me, because I'm so good with myself.
Right.
Now, do I care what people think of me? Absolutely. Right. Some people, not all.
Yeah, exactly.
People that I deem that matter to me in my world. And I'll take feedback from anybody. But when you do the work on yourself, you give less shits. I don't know a better way of saying that. There's that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. And that sold so many copies. One is because the title was kind of the first one in your face.
Yeah.
But two is so many people want that. They want to stop worrying about what other people think of them. And this comment from this guy last night, it's like, you can't do that thing. And I was looking at him like, dude, yeah, I can. like that's not going to bother me at all to do what he was talking about. And it wasn't anything bad. It was just in his world, there's a box you need to fit in.
Right.
And when you do the work on yourself, you can shatter that box.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes back to that saying, I think it was Socrates, perhaps, I might butcher it, but like, know thyself, right? If you've done the work so you know who you truly are, then what other people's opinion of you doesn't matter really. All right. Feedback's great, but feedback and opinion is two different things. And so when you know truly who you are, you know what you're capable of, well, then what is stopping you? Because other people won't.
So what is stopping you? We will go there now. We'll turn the camera off.
Right. Yeah.
No, in all fun, that's exactly what it is. So the journey doesn't just stop. So the activation method is an 8-week program. Some men sign up right away for the Brotherhood, which is a 1-year program. The first 8 weeks is the activation method. And that's what I recommend guys do. Not self-serving. Like, guys, if you sign up for the Brotherhood today, what I eat for dinner doesn't change. My lifestyle doesn't change. My life doesn't change. Yours will.
Yeah.
That I can guarantee. But you got to take action. And if it's not with TPM, do something else. Arthur and I have done tons of stuff all over the world. We know the journey never ends. What are some recommendations if a guy's like, okay, like I'm ready to do something work. I'm ready to make a commitment. And that commitment is time and money, basically. Yeah. I'm ready to invest in myself for the first time maybe, or maybe for the first time in a long time, or try something new and different. What are things that you would recommend a man look for in a program?
I think they've got to have a track record, right? There's a lot of influencers out there on any subject that showed up last week.
Yeah.
And they might talk the talk and all of that, but have they been around long enough to fully understand what you need and how to provide and serve you in it from the right space. So, do they have a track record? Do they have history? What are the recommendations? What is the feedback, the testimonials for that company? Do they have something that resonates with you? Is the other thing, right? Because if it doesn't resonate with you, no matter how good they are, it's not a fit.
Yep.
Maybe it'll be a fit down the line, but not right now. So, is that company? Does that resonate with you? So, history, resonance. And is it in a direction that you feel you're curious about in your life right now? Because I used to do a lot of different courses, right? A course would pop up and I would run for it, okay? My motivation was wrong back in those days. I wanted to grow, but how I was choosing them wasn't the best way. Now it's like I'm drawn by what am I curious about, what interests me, and what do I think is going to shift my life significantly? Mm-hmm. Because the other thing is we don't just need more information. We all got loads of information, all right? What we need is transformation.
Yes.
So pick the option that's going to push you to grow, because if you just get more information, you're not going to grow. So history, reviews, system, I guess, and transformation.
Yeah, you also mentioned resonance, and so I'm going to add on to that.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, I'm here for you. I'm going to add on to that is because I made this mistake. So I did, before TPM existed, I took a course from a men's coaching company, and I didn't like the person. Like I wouldn't go, I call it the beer test, and it's not like I made up the beer test, but I wouldn't have gotten a beer with that guy. Mm-hmm. And so as I was going through that program, I couldn't connect as much. I was kind of a jerk, right? I was like, I don't want to be that person, or I don't want to hang out with them. And so that totally, I did what best I could, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and all that, but I couldn't connect with them. So I think you want to find whoever you're working with, are they real people? Yeah. Like for me, it would be barbecue, people I want to go to a barbecue with. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'm just a simple guy. Well, I am a simple guy. So that works for me. So I would highly recommend that. Another thing I'll add on to yours is I've had the best transformation when I've done things in groups, right? You can go, because there's so many digital courses you can walk yourself through, no community, nothing. You and I have done like 100, man. Yeah. And you don't get a lot from them.
Right.
But to your point, great information maybe, but crap, you got a library card, we can go down to the library and check out books. That doesn't mean you have the knowledge, and mastery is a whole nother level. Yeah. So I say those two things are really, really good. And I would also, like you said, double down on the reviews. Are they vested in what they're doing? In our space, so if I thought of people as competitors, which we really don't, but if there were competitors to TPM, I can think of a dozen of those fly-by-night businesses that haven't been around. There's a guy out there that has a course on how to save your marriage, and he's never been married. Right? That would be like, you live in Cyprus. I'd be like me going, let me tell you what it's like to live in Cyprus. Yeah. And I've never lived there. There's all theory, no practice. You don't know what it's like to be sleeping next to somebody who you're 6 inches away from, but you feel like you're 6 miles apart. Like divorce is looming. What does that divorce mean about me as a man? What does it mean about my kids? This guy would only understand it conceptually, right? Just like you would read a story. Yeah. And I'm not trying to throw shade on this particular person, and I won't say that person's name, but there's a couple of them that are like that. There's a bunch of them that they started recently, and they're doing it out of their basement, and they bought a recording studio. They don't have a physical location. Yeah. Brick and mortar type situation. And those are things that worry me, especially with anything online. Here we're at the TPM Ranch. We've invested in a 106-acre ranch where we run live events. We run events all over the world. We've got a staff of about 36 people. We've been around for over 8 years. Those are like track record is what I would look for.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The other thing is, and this might be difficult for someone on the outside, but find people that love what they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
Think that's one thing that at TPM that separates us, and I'm going to be biased, of course, from other companies, is that we love what we do. Mm-hmm. We love helping men. We love coaching. And so that's our primary motivation. Yeah, it's business. Yeah, there's bills to be paid. But our primary motivation, most of us, if not all of us, are here because we love what we do and how we do it. And that makes a difference to the service that lands at the end of the day.
Number one thing I hear when I meet the guys at an event is like, dude, you are exactly how you come off on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Or they see me with my kids playing like at an event. Like, we had a guy at an event come up to me. So this guy, I'll tell this quick story. And you weren't here for this, I don't think. No. So we have an event. We have 10 or 12 of our clients are here. Some of our staff is here. My family shows up, and then I'm driving around on the Kawasaki Mule and playing and having a great time and playing with them. And this guy has known me for like 2 years, but he's never seen me with my family.
Right.
And he comes up to me and he goes, I got to say, I know you're a great marketer. You're a business guy. You're really smart with that. I always had this wonder, is his family life really that good? And he's like, now that I've seen him, he bought my son a .22 rifle, and he bought my daughter an AR-15.
What?
You know who I'm talking about.
Right,
sure.
now I know. Yeah.
But it was those kinds of, and so the thing I hear the most is you're authentic. You guys are authentic. You're real men who've been through something, and now you're helping other people get through it as well. And I think that's a big deal, right? It's not just about the money. I mean, you got to pay bills and everything else, but you want someone who's passionate about what they do. And I think there's other people out there great coaches that are passionate about what they do. And I think a lot of them probably don't get the service or the recognition that they deserve, not just in TPM. And I think most of us at TPM like each other, which is great.
Yeah, helps.
Yeah, it does. We have a good time. Anything else you want to leave these guys with? Guys that are thinking about, maybe it's just a short journey or a quick fix.
You owe it to yourself to find out what else is possible for you.
Yeah.
And to build that extraordinary life that is you're capable of doing, and that is out there for you.
Yeah. I'm going to leave the guys with one more thing, if we can. Guys, what I want you to do is pause this if you can't do it, or do your best, is I want you to draw a circle. And in that circle, I want you to divide up that pie into 5 sections. One we're going to call self. Next one's going to be health, relationships, business, self-health, wealth, relationship. I forgot wealth. Self-health, wealth, relationships, and business. Heard a sound in the studio behind me. So you have 5 pieces of pie. Now, what I want you to do is put a 0 in the center of that pie, in the center of that circle, and a 10 on the outside. I want you to rate yourself from 0 to 10, and 10 being optimal. Like, this is the best it could be. So let's pick relationships. Let's pick your marriage. If you're married, and if you're not married, a relationship you want. If you were to objectively look at yourself and rate your marriage on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best marriage, the marriage you've always wanted, maybe even a little bit better than you ever imagined possible, and a 0 being just completely a dead marriage, sexless, the whole 9. Give yourself a rating. Do that in each of those 5 categories. So self, health, wealth, relationships, and business. Where are you the lowest? Where are you not a 10? If you're not an 8 or above, you got to attack that area. You have to attack that area. If you're an 8, hey, you got some room to improve, and choose where you want to be. And the secret is the 10 can always be expansive, as Arthur was saying. You can always expand beyond the 10, because 10 is just your current reality. It's like I was training back in my former life as a trainer. I was training somebody never run, very obese. And we trained this person to run their first 5K, and they cried and never thought a 5K was possible. And then what do they want to do next? A half marathon. Because a half marathon was they never even thought about it, never even crossed their mind, but now it became possible.
Yeah.
And so as we keep growing, guys, those things, your half marathon, your marathon, becomes possible as you continue to take those stepping points. So do that exercise and figure out where you want to go, and follow Arthur's points, right? Find somebody who's been there, done that, someone who's got great testimonials, someone you relate to and you have resonance with, and someone you can trust. They've been doing this for a while and have a proven track record, and then go attack that area of your life. You deserve this. You guys, you deserve more than average. You spend money on beer, lattes, toys, all kinds of crap. I certainly do. I was joking about it last night, how many different toys and things that I have. But when are you going to invest in yourself to be truly happy? You guys deserve it. Arthur, man, thanks for all you do here, man. Coaching the men. I can't believe it's been 7 years since your Alpha Reset, where we first met face to face, and this journey you've been on, fulfilling what I think is your calling and your passion, really helping the men. Here you are. You flew across the world to help these men at the Rising get through the other side of their journey. And the way that you not only lead, but you walk alongside the men through their dark tunnels and through that, it really resonates.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got
It's been an amazing journey, and thank you for that journey as well.
Yeah, you're welcome. Gentlemen, as I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Like, what is your massive action? What is your takeaway? Don't go from podcast to podcast. I call that educational masturbation, right? You're going from one thing to another to another. We do that throughout our entire lives. Take some time, take a step back, and decide, hey, what's possible for me? If I had unlimited resources, what's possible? What's the most important area? One thing that I do routinely is I picture myself in my 80s, sipping a glass of lemonade or a glass of whiskey, depends on when I'm doing this, sitting on the front porch. When I'm reflecting back on my life in my 80s, and I'm 48 right now, what's most important? For me, what's most important is my enjoyment of my life, my relationship with my wife, and my relationship with my kids. Those are the most important things to me. We'll start there. There's other things, of course. Now, as you look at those, are those on point? And if they are, great, move on. But if they're not, if they're lagging in your relationships, if they're lagging in your personal fulfillment, take massive action now so you're not the guy in the 80s sitting in the chair with a bunch of regrets. You don't deserve it. You don't need it. You deserve the best. Take massive action now. We'll see you next time on the TPM Show.